Hello everybody, my name is Andre. I'm the host of this channel, Suburbs of Seattle, and whether you're in Seattle or not, stick around for some great information on what it takes to buy your first home. Or second or third, it doesn't matter. The process is the same. Step 1 is to get pre-approved. Now please don't go to any brick and mortar type of banks to get pre-approved. The reason why is because those banks are very bad at making sure that you get the keys on time. I once had a situation where the buyer wanted to use, I'm not saying the name, cough cough, US Bank, and I highly recommended against it, but they wanted to use because it was their bank. And when the closing day came, when they were supposed to get the keys, and they had the moving trucks, US Bank said they needed another 2 weeks to close the loan. So the buyer had to extend the contract. And what happened is the closing date got extended 5 more times by US Bank. If you want to save yourself from a lot of gray hair, please don't use a brick and mortar type of bank. Instead, drum roll, ta-da-da-da-dum. Sorry for my drum roll. Anyways, instead, go to a realtor that you trust, and they will recommend their lender, who is usually 99% of the time a private lender who works with a private company, and they alone will be the one who works on your file. They'll work on it diligently, and they will get the deal closed on time. Because it's one person who will work on your file, not 20 to 30 people like brick and mortar banks have. So that's step 1. So after you get your pre-approval, now we can go look at some houses, right? So when you look at houses, you want to make sure you know your wants versus your needs, right? Not every house that you're going to see is going to have all of your wants and all of your needs. It's like marriage. If you're married, I am. Don't have my ring on me right now, but if you are married, you kind of, look at wants versus needs, and you're like, yeah, this person I can do life with, right? Like my wife, she's awesome. I know I'm not perfect. I think she knows she might have some flaws too. Anyways, there's not marriage counseling here, but point is, we make it work. So you gotta find yourself a house where you're gonna make it work. You're gonna stick with it. You're gonna know the ins and outs. Yeah, you know your standards, right? So you have your wants, you have your needs, which are your like must-haves. It has to have a good roof, right? It has to have solid foundation, right? Very similar to marriage. Has to have solid foundation, right? So know your needs versus your wants, and pick a house that fits as close as possible within that little sphere. Don't be too unreasonable. If a house has all of your needs or most of them and a few wants, take it. You'll never be able to find a perfect house, but you can make it the perfect house after you buy it. So that is step 2. Looking for a house, identifying your wants and needs, and step 3 is writing an offer on that house. After you write up the offer, let me backtrack. After your agent writes up the offer for you, there's a few things that have to happen. First of all, make sure your agent, when they write up the offer, you have to have an agent who knows what they're doing. There has to be what we call contingencies in place that protect your deposit. What deposit is that? Well, when you buy a house, you put down a small amount of money. Well, could be $5,000, could be $3,000, could be $10,000, depending on your market. Listen to your realtor for the recommendations. In Seattle area, it's typically 5 to 15 grand. So what happens is that deposit is secured by a third-party company, and that deposit goes towards your down payment. You can get that deposit back if you back out of the deal, but you have to have a valid reason for backing out of the deal. So one of the valid reasons or contingencies is an inspection period. Hire a professional inspection company. Your realtor will recommend one as well. Hire a professional inspection company. Make sure that foundation, roof, sewer, all of the things are solid. No house will be perfect. Even new construction houses sometimes have flaws. So hire an inspection company, inspect the house, make sure it's up to par and that everything's solid. and then you move forward with the transaction. If the house is not solid, you can back out and take that deposit money back. But if you move forward with the transaction, there's usually only one more chance for you to get that deposit back if you want to back out of the deal for some reason, right? It's when the appraisal happens. If the bank comes out, when the bank comes out and appraises your house, their job is to see, is it worth what you're paying for it? And if the bank finds that it is worth what you're paying for it, you can't back out, the deal is moving forward. However, if the bank finds out that it is not worth what you're paying for it, you have to have a great agent who will renegotiate the price with the seller and have the seller come down in price to the appraised value, right? So if the seller comes down in price and you guys come to an agreement, you can move forward with the transaction and on to the closing day. The closing period, this whole period, can take about 30 days from the moment that you write an offer to the moment that you get your keys. So make sure you have a great agent who can write up the offer correctly to protect your money and to protect your investment. It's one of the biggest purchases that you will ever make in your life. So thank you for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button for more videos about real estate, how to purchase a home, how to sell a home, and what to look out for. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.